essentially, I messaged Scratch Bastard and I had a couple questions about them to him. I know on his social media he's been given a setup from Rane that he's been using as like his home studio, as long as
his old man setup.
Yeah, his old man setup, as well as the new Technics 1200 Mach 7s that he has.
Everybody sends Bastard gear.
Oh yeah, and. I read online that there was a couple like bugs with them, as there's bugs with all equipment usually. And he got back to me and said that they actually have kinked out majority of the bugs.
Just like the throttling issues in 2018 MacBook Pros.
Yeah, almost all of them with the new firmware updates that they released a couple months ago.
Dope.
So he said, he was like, man, they're solid. So that's another thing
the
Rane 12s.
So they connect, from what I haven't had, that's the one thing I haven't got my hands on and spent time with.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and I'm not going to go pay it just to mess with it.
But well, the 72 mixer is essentially the same as your S9.
Yeah, absolutely. But do they only run with USBs? Like, are they essentially HID turntables?
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, which is why
can't run. And they can't read regular vinyl because they don't have needles.
No.
Correct. Okay, cool. So it's just a big vinyl turntable.
Yeah, it's essentially a giant controller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exact same thing as what we are currently using as CDJs.
Yep.
And that's probably the biggest driver.
That feels real.
Yeah, it's the biggest drivers because I love.
It looks so nice.
I'm a turntable purist at heart.
Yeah.
And going on like using HID mode in the club is amazing.
No
needle jumps.
And honestly, needle arms in general are so delicate. It's
crazy. Yeah.
It's literally like a female vagina. Like it's ridiculous. Like
facts.
Seriously, like you can't just like toss anything on top of your turntable because Lord knows you might break it off.
For anyone who's not familiar with DJ cartridges, styluses, which is what the needle is called, they're pretty expensive to replace. They're like anywhere from $70 to $120 per stylus. And now where Shure has discontinued their M447 models, which is the industry standard turntable needle. The price has gone up on the other ones. So it's definitely super expensive to consistently be breaking needles and replacing them. And now the Rane 12s are a needleless full direct drive turntable. So they have the exact same feel as a Tech 12. And they have on the back toggle switch to do low torque, which is considered your Technic 1200 standard, or a high torque like the Denon or Reloop turntables, the newer ones. Which is essentially
just a slightly different feel.
Yeah, slightly different feel. Picks up faster and it allows DJs who are really in like the DMC battle style
really get the control.
routines that they can really rebound fast from juggling and stuff like that. But the big driver for me, why I think I will probably order those, is the fact that it's so close to HID and it has the feel of a turntable, but like I tell you all the time, and I know some other DJs, shout out Four Color Zach and Craze, they talked about it on another emerging DJ City podcast, The Road. He said that they do all their own transition tracks, and I know when we first started using like time code, you would have to go onto your record pools, which is where DJs download majority of their music.
Talk about that another one.
And we would have to download these transition tracks, which would be like, say, if you're playing David Guetta or an Afrojack song at 128 BPM, and then you would go down to like 100 and play a hip hop song, a classic DMX or Fat Man Scoop or something like that.
Reza put tobacco in that, and now you're talking. I got major head spins.
Buddy, he gave you a
shout out VIVIR.
Popper, little popper joint.
So you. I'm really into this setup. But let's talk about the mixer real quick. What do you know about that? I know you don't have one yet, and I don't think you've had your hands on it, where it's all just you, like, doing some bugging. And like I said, so I don't know much about this right now. So that's why we're having these questions and just banging it out here.
So Carter said before that he uses the S9, which is literally, in my opinion, the bulletproof standard
industry
turntable
standard now. Yeah.
Battle
like the Tech was the standard turntable. This is now the standard mixer.
For turntablists and battle DJs.
Absolutely.
Party rock DJs, I'll say. And
even DJs could get away with it too, man. They don't.
Oh yeah.
They're just too stubborn to realize. Yeah. It's just sweet. You can play with 4 decks on that. And I'm just, sorry, guys. Just a quick rant though. It's like people talking about, I need 4 channels. It's like, this mixer is mapped to 4 channels. It can play 4. You can only do 2 at a time. Yes, but you don't have 4 arms, homie. Like, and I get it. Maybe some fancy ass DJ is gonna come out of the woodwork and be like, Carter, watch me do this. All right, I see you, and you're an outlier, and everyone else don't do that shit. No, so it's just like, if you want your 3rd deck, don't, and you're just like a DJ, and you're like, I gotta go buy, and the industry standard 4-channel club mixer. It's like that's gonna be more money, and you don't need it. Mm-hmm. And usually because of the channels, they have less other options, such as good pressure sensitive pads built into the mixer, which is, we all know, every DJ would almost agree, is handy as fuck right now.
Oh yeah. That is the lane you want to be in.
Yeah, my bad. I cut you off, but I just had to talk about that.
So Carter owns the S9, which is a solid mixer. To be honest, if I'm gonna buy any mixer for at home, it is gonna be an S9 or a 72. I owned a 57 from Rane, which I loved. Amazing mixer. Carter was using it for a while.
Love it. With record box.
Yeah. Shout out again, New Rock, Patty Green. He sold me that mixer. He sold me a 56 before as well, which is literally, he still has
the old version of it. And then you sold it back, or?
Yeah, I gave it back to him and he sold me the 57. He wanted the 56 back. Okay. And to be honest, I wish I kept the 56 because that thing was sick. Literally the most basic mixer, and it was a tank. But I do really enjoy the Rane stuff. Obviously, Pioneers.
And Rane makes really nice equipment. Yeah. I love Pioneer because we've been using it in Shark Week. I've pretty well been using it ever since. But I did own a Rane mixer once back in the day. I really enjoyed it for the short period of time I had it. They were treading ground on new technology with like having cue points and stuff in mixers at the time. So there was definitely bugs to be worked out on that in the whole industry, not just them. That was my experience owning any Rane products. But then I did play your mixer for a long period of time. And then, one of the homies, DJ Tom Fleming, shout out, he'd come through and I've opened for him a couple times. And I played on his mixer, as well as IV also had it. It was
62.
It was a Rane 62, and they were really nice mixers. Rane makes really nice internal like analog effects, and they make really nice shit.
Yeah, personally, I think.
But Pioneers were just what I'm used to right now.
Yeah,
and most people seem to be.
I personally think Rane has a nicer sounding effects than Pioneer in general. Rane's Echo, for some reason, I don't know why, but it's like butter. It's just like, dude,
I really like from what I remember using the Rane stuff with effects, I really like their phasers and flanger and that type of shit more. I found it had more texture. Yeah, and it was warmer and had more texture. I do really like the Echo and reverb on the S9 and in Pioneer stuff. I love even listening to software effects versus like a good, even a 900, some effects of the 900, 900 Nexus, even the 800. They had some really nice sounds, but I do agree it has a warmer sound.
Yeah.
But that's not always, I mean, it's both good.
Personal preference.
Yeah, really. It's literally personal preference. And club goers do not fucking notice.
No. The really too, like for anyone who's not familiar with these battle mixers, is that the 72 now has like a internal screen built into the mixer, which can display your waveforms, and it also has like a kind of like a touchpad for your effects as well.
That's nice as well.
Which is cool.
Do they have an XY pad?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, and
that's expressive as fuck. So.
Yeah, and the new firmware update, the effects on it.
Watching EDM DJs try to use it and like tweak their elbows, like they like turn the filter and they like do like static twists and stuff. Trying to do that with an X pad, dude, fucking stupid ass, fucking movements.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not hating. I'm just saying. It's like,
yeah. So.
I thought I turned it off, Rise, man.
Essentially, the 72 had a couple bugs when it first came out with their effects. The internal effects on the mixer were post-fader, and the Serato effects weren't. And now they are, which I love, because I don't really use Serato effects very often unless I'm using a controller. Yeah. But the fact that you can run 4 effects at once now is pretty cool. I probably wouldn't do it very often.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't do it very often, but
yeah, and the other big thing why I like the S9 so much is the simplicity of it, and the effects are really.
You can only run 3 effects at once in the S9.
Yeah,
is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, because you got the built-in mixer ones, the Serato / software ones. That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Word.
I don't know if you can use the Serato and the S9 like simultaneously at the same time. I don't think you can.
No way.
Yeah. The big thing with the S9 that I like is the fact that it's like literally a touch away, and sometimes you might want to switch something on a dime while you're like literally 5 seconds left in your transition or something like that, which is awesome. And I know that the Rane is more complex. Like you have to dive into.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, you can pick up an S9, and you, for the most part, if you've used more than one mixer in your life, you can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Unless you, Anyways, completely agree. So. Yeah, like the Rane one really does seem like a not a hobbyist thing, but a very niche, like very specific, professional ass grade mixer. Doesn't sound very practical for basic club applications though. And I'm once again, I'm not hating. Like I want him to buy this so I can just fuck with it at his house.
Well, if I shout out Rane, if I do get the gear, we'll do an unboxing here.
Yeah,
it'll be lit.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, I feel like the S9 it just helped where it's more intuitive naturally to other mixers and this and that. Once again, honestly, funny. Like I said, I owned Rane before, and it was when they were treading new ground. They're actually treading new ground right now with this mixer. So with the screen inside and all that. So that's really interesting to see how that unfolds. I do think Pioneer is going to hold the classic club mixer place right now.
Yeah.
Just because
that's a big thing too. It feels at home for both of us because we played on the Pioneer standard equipment for so many years, and I know that's why so many DJs lean towards it.
The only thing I wish they had now is honestly, some people are kind of that doesn't make any fucking difference, but I really do wish they had digital outs on it, and because the CDJs have them, and once you're like already using once your sound card's built in, and you have a sound card in all the fucking turntables too, it's like. It's no trouble to run the digitals, and it is a higher fidelity audio. To anyone who's used it with a 4-channel club mixer, like a 900 or something, you run the digitals on your channels versus the RCAs, and it's night and day. And even if you take, say, your red RCA and run it on your digital channel, and just the cable itself is not as thick, the connectors aren't as good, and it's actually literally 6 decibels lower. Your master will be up higher if you're using RCAs versus digitals. The digitals allows you to get more juice. So honestly, when people are using analog setups such as the what Nick uses at Confusion, or what we used to use for Shark Week, for a better example, just CDJ 2000 Nexus, 2 of them, and a 900 Nexus. It's like when you run your audio, put your SD cards in, run it from the CDJs into the mixer, it's actually twice as loud. You get more juice out of your mixer. You literally get almost, I don't know if it's factually 6 decibels, but I'm telling you, it sounds pretty damn close. I would like to know. I'm probably going to look that up.
It does sound better. You can,
for sure.
We noticed the difference when using digitals. It was dope too because
I seen it with Adventure Club doing their backline with their tour manager Shaggy. He had a redundant laptop. He was running HID as well as USBs, like we're saying. He had so two laptops and then a redundant SD cards, and all running digital.
Shout out to all the managers who crush it for their artists.
Well, Shaggy walked in the building and he's like, "Hey, is all this tested?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's all great." And he's like, "Did you test these USBs?" And I was like, "Yeah, I tested them last night, and I just brought them here this morning and set it up." And he's like, "Dope, really appreciate it. I'm just gonna use mine." And he unplugged all mine and just used his. But he kept them ran in place. So he's like, this way if mine fail, he's like, not only do I have backups, but yours already ran, so that can time you over. And then he had, it was crazy. This dude was nuts. And it's funny because one of their laptops actually failed during the show. Once again, shout out Adventure Club, because they fucking still ripped their set. No one really noticed. Yeah. And that's the point. Shaggy ran through that whole thing flawlessly with starting up a new laptop. And as soon as the laptop died, the music went for a second. The SD cards started to play. They ran those, and then they got the laptop back up and running, went right back to the laptop. Yeah. And then rebooted the other one and had the other one. So gangster. Yeah, gangster as fuck. So if you're trying to be a tour manager or anything like that, that's the level you have to be on. Even if you're trying to be a manager, to be honest. We're not managers, but that shit's useful. That does not go a fucking straight, especially in a live performance scenario when you're getting paid a lot of money to be there as well.
That's the other thing too about the 12s that I think they're amazing for so many things, and this goes back to the research aspect of it. Is you literally need to like write out your equipment, and then hey boys. They write out your equipment, write down all the pros, all the cons, and at the end of the day, compare what is going to be essentially the best option for it. Yeah. And there's so many pros with the Rane stuff that I like, but the big con to me is the fact that they don't have some sort of other output with RCAs or the ability to play.
Yeah, it's a friction point for me.
Yeah, to play something else. So essentially, for example, if I would use the setup at like a wedding or something like that, and for some reason, if it crashed and my computer crashed,
you're fucked.
Yeah. Unless
that's what I mean.
The mixer will still have power, and you could play an external out like my phone with a mix on it. But
no one wants to have to resort to the phone.
No, it's like literally the last option.
Yeah, that sucks
because you can't DJ then.
You can't really DJ, especially if your turntables are down. Like if you have one turntable up, you could mix off your phone.
Yeah.
But you can't mix your phone back onto your turntable. Really, maybe.
And all your option for your music's gone. Then it's super nightmare situation. You don't want to do it.
You do not want to do that. And it's funny because Traktor made a phone version of Traktor Pro, and obviously it's not the same. It is meant to DJ with.
Well, Rekordbox has the same thing.
And I had it. Well, Rekordbox is just a music prep thing. Like it's just a so like just like the USB, you can hold all the music on it, and you can prep it like we used to do with the Rekordbox software, so you can set your cue points and your memory cues, but you can't actually DJ. Like you can only plug in the phone, and if it's linked, you can do it like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they don't have Rekordbox DJ on a phone, so. Okay. With Traktor, you could literally just have a 1/8 and DJ off your phone and drag 2 songs in and then mix them and then fade them, and you can beat match them and there's sync there if you need it. Nuts. So you could do it, and I bought it and it's like in my Apple Store history or my cloud, but I've honestly, I think I used it once, and it was not only because I had the novelty. Like, and I found one application, like we were somewhere and it needed to happen, so I did it. And even then, it was debatably didn't really need to happen.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, fuck it, we'll do it, and I'll be able to mix a few songs, and then we'll, I guess, just put on a mix or something.
Yeah. The good thing about
fuck that.
The other reason why I'm also kind of leaning towards getting these new Mach 7 or the Reloop turntables is the fact that you do have that option to, like, if I had to play, I could carry a vinyl record with me.
Yeah,
or something like that, you know.
No, and that's dope too.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice too. Even like at home,
have
like
two or a couple.
My girlfriend's a big granola kid. I'll say hipster, and she loves some Bon Iver and whatnot. And to have a couple Bon Iver records playing on a turntable downstairs in the living room
is sick.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, and then you don't really need to buy regular turntables too.
Yeah,
just to listen to vinyl. You know what I mean? Like, because you already have them.
Yeah, so. That's another thing that, like, are kind of my purist at heart wants to do that route instead. Yeah. I know that the Rane stuff would probably be a better, like, performance aspect to it. I'll probably get more bang for my buck that way.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how I feel about bringing a $5,000 setup to the club.
Yeah, in any context.
Yeah.
Because even if you're going like somewhere, it's like you want that on your rider if you're going, and no one can provide that on a rider right now.
Exactly.
The only place that might provide that for you is in Vegas or like the Top Club in New York or your respective city.
Yeah.
And the Top Club, and I'm talking not Newfoundland or Halifax or anywhere on the East Coast.
Maybe not even Toronto.
Yeah, like you literally, like, what's the biggest club in Toronto? I don't really fucking know right now.
Probably like
wherever the biggest EDM acts or act, like DJ Snake could get away with it, like asking for it, or at New City Gas in Montreal. But like that's it. Like Snake's really the only person who could practically be like, because he uses turntables, techs. So that would actually be great for Snake because he's big enough to ask for it and make sure all the redundancies possible, whether it be extra turntables, he can have all that. But anyone else who's not a millionaire and is in a world-class DJ on that level cannot expect for that.